What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Today we have some breaking Lions news as the Detroit Lions have officially made their first big re-signing of the offseason as the Detroit Lions and top pass rusher Romeo Okwara have agreed to a 3-year, $39 million contract to keep him in the Motor City until he is 27. Now, in today's video, we will obviously be talking about the new Romeo Okwara contract, what this means for Romeo, what this means for the Detroit Lions, whether or not this was a good signing by our Lions, and how this will affect them moving into the 2021 season and beyond. Now, before we get into the video and before we get into talking about the new Romeo Okwara contract and the newest re-signing of the Detroit Lions, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It's quick, free, and easy, and you would be helping the channel out more than you could know. So if you could take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get right into talking about Romeo Okwara's new contract and what this means for our Detroit Lions moving forward. Now, as I said, yesterday the Detroit Lions and Romeo Okwara came to an agreement on a longer-term contract. Romeo Okwara received a 3-year, $39 million contract by the Detroit Lions, keeping him here until the year 2023 and until his 7th year in the NFL. He will be 27 when the contract expires and obviously will play through the year 2023 for our Lions. Now, the exact details of the contract have not come out yet, so we don't know things like the cap hit this year, the cap hit for future years. We don't know what is guaranteed, what is incentives based, and all of that kind of stuff. So we don't have the exact details of the contract. All we have right now is the year and the total amount that he can earn as a member of the Detroit Lions pass rush. And from a base standpoint, from a gut reaction, I don't mind the contract a whole lot. I actually really like the re-signing of Romeo Okwara, and I said multiple times that I would be very, very intrigued, and I would really like to see Romeo Okwara suit up for the Lions yet again in the 2021 season. Last year in the 2020 NFL season, Romeo Okwara had an absolutely career year, totaling over 32 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 18 quarterback hits, 10 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and a safety. Romeo Okwara was top 10 in the NFL in sacks, and he was top 10 among defensive linemen in forced fumbles last season. Not to mention, Romeo Okwara multiple times showed up in the clutch. He showed up in big moments a lot for the Detroit Lions. Obviously, his forced fumble in Chicago was really the biggest play in that comeback. The Lions were down by a lot of points, and that comeback started. The comeback was kind of on a roll, and Romeo Okwara made by far the biggest play of that comeback, making the forced fumble, forcing the fumble on Mitch Trubisky, in which the Lions then recovered. Adrian Peterson 2 or 3 plays later punched it into the end zone, and the defense was able to hold one more drive to get that final victory on the season. You then have the Atlanta Falcons game where I believe he had 2 sacks in that game and a forced fumble. That forced fumble really sparking the comeback in Atlanta. Obviously, Matt Stafford finished off that comeback. However, that comeback would not have been able to happen. That comeback would not have started without Romeo Okwara making the game-changing play in the biggest moment. So, Romeo Okwara last season especially had a phenomenal season for the Lions and was by far the Lions' best defensive player on that side of the ball. He was by far the best pass rusher and by far the best defensive player for the Lions team, for the Lions organization a season ago. So it makes sense that he got a big contract and a long-term contract by the Detroit Lions. Obviously, you can't be a good football team without retaining your top talent, and that's exactly what the Lions, and that's exactly what Brad Holmes is trying to do here by re-signing Romeo Okwara. Now, obviously, Romeo's re-signing with the Detroit Lions likely has something to do with the Lions drafting his brother Julian Okwara in the 2020 NFL draft a season ago. Obviously, he was a former third-round pick by Bob Quinn, and he is the brother of Romeo. So probably it's very likely that the brothers wanted to stay together in Detroit, and I actually like it from that standpoint as well, as Romeo will be able to teach Julian a lot of pass pass rushing things. He'll be able to teach him some of the tips and tricks. And if Julian can stay healthy in the 2021 season, if he can finally stay healthy in the NFL and play in an entire season for the Lions, Romeo should be able to help his brother's development in the NFL that much faster now that he is still here in the Motor City. Now, you might be saying, and if you're a Lions fan that isn't a big fan of this contract, the biggest reason is likely that Romeo Okwara has only had one quote-unquote breakout season for the Lions and has only really had one top-tier performance, only had one top-tier season in his NFL career. However, that I think is not necessarily true by Romeo Okwara. His first year in the Motor City, his first year as a member of the Detroit Lions, he actually totaled over 7.5 sacks and had a very, very underrated, very quiet season, but a very productive season nonetheless. He was one of our top pass rushers in 2018 as well as 2020. So in 2 of his 3 seasons in Detroit, he's been probably the best pass rusher and one of the best defensive players on our defense and on our team over his time in Detroit. And although he's only had 1 season with double-digit sacks, he has been relatively productive for the Detroit Lions over the past 3 seasons. He only had 1 real down season. That was in the 2019 season. However, that was the season Matt Patricia very severely cut his playing time, took a lot of snaps away from Romeo and gave them to guys like Trey Flowers and some of the other pass rushers that fit his system better than what, he thought Romeo was going to do. He actually felt, Matt Patricia felt like Romeo wasn't fitting the system as well. He felt that Romeo wasn't going to be as effective as guys like Trey Flowers and some of the other players, so his playing time was severely starved in 2019, and as you could see from the statistics, his play and his statistics severely dropped off. However, he was playing in severely less snaps, and he was playing in significantly less snaps for the Lions in 2019. In 2020, his playing time was actually given back a little bit. It wasn't even as high as it was in the 2018 season. However, Romeo was not going to let that stop him this year, as even, and I believe just 67% of defensive snaps for the Detroit Lions, as I said, totaled 10 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 18 quarterback hits, 3 forced fumbles, a safety, a fumble recovery, had a career year, and as I said, finished top 10 in the NFL in sacks a season ago. Overall, this is a very good signing for the Detroit Lions. Overall, I am extremely happy with the signing of Romeo Okwara. I don't feel as though we significantly overpaid or significantly reached on a contract for Romeo Okwara. Did we overpay him a little bit for a guy that, has had limited NFL success? Probably. I think that argument is very fair to make, that maybe we did overpay Romeo a little bit. However, this is a far cry from a bad contract. This is a far cry from a contract comparable to Big V or Jamie Collins or Desmond Trufant. This is a guy that has had success in Detroit. This is a guy that is still incredibly young, has no reason to regress next season. His only trajectory is up at this point for the Detroit Lions. And I think Romeo's only going to get better under a better defensive coordinator with better schemes, with a better general manager, putting better talent around him. The only thing I see for Romeo next season is improvement. I only see him going up. I only see him getting better next season with better coaching and better players surrounding him, especially with Trey Flowers coming back off a very injury-riddled season. Overall, I'm a very big fan of this contract. Like I said, it's not a Big V situation where you've not really seen him perform as a starter before in the NFL. This isn't a Desmond Trufant situation where he's coming off an injury-riddled season, getting kind of into that older tier of players, having his athleticism leave, and not really being able to perform or do the things he did a few seasons ago. This isn't a Jamie Collins contract where he performs very well in one particular system and then just can't perform somewhere else, like we've seen Jamie Collins do numerous times. This is a young player, only 25 years of age, who's coming off a career top 10 pass rush-esque season, and we're getting him for, obviously the details aren't out yet, the cap hit isn't out yet, but we're getting him for the next 3 years for just under $40 million. So in my opinion, it's a very solid contract for a very good player. Is this a great signing by the Detroit Lions? Probably not. If I had to grade this signing, I would give it somewhere around a B+. The talent is there, the production is there, the history is there. It makes sense from both parties. It makes sense to keep Romeo in Detroit. It makes sense for Romeo to stay in Detroit. However, again, it's probably a little bit of a slight overpay. However, it is far within market value when looking at guys like Shaq Barrett and J.J. Watt, who actually had very comparable stats to Romeo a season ago. With all of that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. That is the update on Romeo Okwara. He did get a big-time contract from the Detroit Lions, did get paid for his efforts a season ago. A 3-year, $39 million contract. As the statistics, as the cap hit, as the incentives, as the details of the contract continue to come out and continue to unfold, I will obviously keep everybody updated. But until then, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. If there's more Lions news before tomorrow, if there's another signing, another release, or something else happens within the Lions organization, I will obviously make another video letting every single person know. But until then, that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, go Lions!